So Brian, from the outside, it seems like you have a very strong, fun, awesome culture. Is that your culture? How much of your culture is you and what you've done here in the Treasure Valley versus inherited from corporate?
Um, yeah, so I mean, the benefit that my wife and I both had was coming up through the company. So we were poured into with this culture, and it's been a Dutch Bros culture from day one. Back when they started in 1992 with one push cart in downtown Grants Pass, Oregon. I mean, their whole culture was relationship, serve the customer. I think Trav tells the story obviously better than anyone because he was there. But I think the first day they made like $48, and they were just blasting Van Halen and just serving the downtown Grants Pass community, mostly homeless people that they gave away free stuff to. So they weren't in it for sales at that point either. But the culture was there, and they knew if they could build this, relationship first business that happened to sell really good coffee and fast forward to today, energy drinks and all that stuff, that it would work. They just knew that they kept pouring into it. So when we started working in Bend, that culture is just driven into you from day one. But back then, we didn't have training programs. We didn't have anything like that. It was like just show up and here's a way to make all the drinks. Here's our menu. Good luck. And so we had to kind of learn on the job. Where fast forward to today, we've now adopted a ton of training programs. Our office down the street here has a full training center that is mocked up exactly like the inside of one of our shops. So when our people come in, they spend 2 weeks alone just in there making drinks that we just lose on all the product. We just throw it all away. But it's important for them to get those reps in, because I remember what it was like to just be thrown in, and that sink or swim mentality sometimes works, but it can be quite challenging, especially to fast forward to today, to the blessing we have today of long lines and things like that. We've lost some really great people, I think, just from throwing them in too early. So the culture, we've kind of, the way we coach it, when we do our 2-week training, the first 4 days they don't even make drinks. They just watch Dutch Bros videos, culture videos, and that all comes from our headquarter office out of Oregon. But we just really spend the first 4 days in teaching them all about the creed of Dutch Bros Creed, as well as all the videos of where the company came from, where it started, and all that. So we hit them pretty hard, and then after they've got all that dialed, then we get them into drink making and stuff like that. So it's kind of a combination of both. The company itself definitely is culture first and drives that into us, but then we've had to adapt as we grow, and every area does this around, and I know all owners do different things different ways, but we really try to be creative too and come up with more fun ways to, like even our hiring process, we don't do a sit down interview. We do group hires where everybody comes to our office and they're playing cornhole and they're hanging out and this and they're being evaluated the whole time while they're going through that process. They don't maybe really recognize that, but all our managers and assistant managers are there kind of taking notes on who's interacting with who's kind of a wallflower on the side, who's on their phone the whole time and not interacting with anyone. And they're kind of taking notes, and then they get through that process, and then they go break up into different small groups and go into a small little question and answer type thing. And we kind of feed them through the system that way. We're looking for personalities. I could care less if you can make a cup of coffee or not. We can teach you that side. I can't change your personality. Like, we've tried, it doesn't work. People's personality at the ages we get them are set in stone. So we really just hire on personalities, and we like to find those people. And it's not saying the person that is maybe a wallflower at our interview doesn't get hired. Like, there's a place for that personality as well. It's more of my personality. I'm not the guy that's going to jump up in the window and dance when you pull up or anything like that, but I'd love to sit down and have like a meaningful conversation with you, things like that. So we try to identify that. But back to your question of the culture, we've adapted it over the years, but our company's always been, from the beginning, it's just kind of been there. We just have to, and we have to keep adapting. Generations change, obviously, and I feel like I'm still young, but I'm not anymore. So we have to adapt to the change generations, because our average age is 18 to 26, I would say, is probably who we hire, and that generation keeps changing. And what they like and what motivates them is different all the time, and so keeping them engaged is hard sometimes, but I don't know if I get rounded about back to what you wanted, but